Hi, everyone, and welcome to week one of the Review Times Chalk Talk. Along with Andy Wolf, I'm Michael Burwell. And Andy, the season's starting Friday, and I'm pretty excited about it.
I can't wait. It's one of those things where you start doing all these football tab work, and the closer you get, the more you get done, the more itching you are for high school football, and it's only a few days away.
For sure. So the Review Times football tab, which came out in today's paper, right here, featuring Hopewell Loudon's change from the Blanchard Valley Conference to the Sandusky Bay Conference in today's paper. All right, Andy, so we'll start off by talking about Fostoria's football team. They have an interesting situation. They only have 35 players on the team, but 15 of them are seniors. That's quite an interesting scenario for Derek Kidwell.
It's an interesting scenario, especially because they're a Division IV school this year. They've always kind of been in like the mid-30s, mid-high 30s numbers-wise. So the numbers have kind of been there. A lot of it's basically this year is going to be their depth. They like a lot of their senior leadership they have, or with as many seniors as they have, a lot of returnees that they have. You've got returning at quarterback and Devin Mauricio, who's been a huge playmaker for them his past couple of years. Sophomore year, he was kind of a do-it-all athlete kind of guy. Last year was his first year as a starting quarterback. Performed admirably well, I'd say, but they really leaned on two running backs in Jaden Miller, Malik Tucker. Both of them are gone, so Kidwell's going to let him be able to expand it as well, air it out a little bit more in their spread, I-form offense, whatnot. They've got the playmakers to kind of make it happen too. Somebody I really like on this team, I got to see a lot last year, was Brian Stenson. Not very big, but man, he can fly, and Kidwell expects him to be one of their best playmakers in space this year. And they open up on Friday against Oak Harbor, who they have beaten in the past, and Oak Harbor is one of those quality SBC teams that you can usually count on winning 7 or 8, 9 games or so. I believe they were a playoff team last year. Oak Harbor beat them 18-0 last year. You're going to want to assume Fostoria A wants to get on the board, and for a program that's really looking for signature wins, they beat Oak Harbor a couple years ago, and Oak Harbor finished 4-6. Maybe didn't turn out to be as good of a win as they might have thought, but they're looking for signature wins in the NBC this year. They want to get a signature win in the conference for sure. Derek Kidwell is kind of thinking that this is the year that they could maybe be on the upper echelon in the NBC. Maybe not so much win it, but there's so much talent graduated between Eastwood and Genoa. He really feels the league is wide open this year, and in his tenure as Fostoria head coach, they've beaten up on the Elmwoods and the Woodmores. They stole a game from Lake one year, but this is the year that they really want to beat Otsego. They would really want to beat one of Eastwood or Genoa, so even just a win of that nature would be very good for the program and trying to keep them moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, finishing in the top half of that conference would be a huge step forward for the Redmen. So let's talk a little bit about Van Buren has an interesting situation this year. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I did Van Buren for our tab this year, and kind of one of the first things that kind of came out was the whole, they call it Embrace Chaos. It's donned on their T-shirts, and what their situation basically is their field. I went out there, and it was all dirt. They're redoing their field, and Coach JT Bates said, we want to do it right, so the field's not going to be ready this season. Thus, they have to play all of their home games at Donnell Stadium, which I believe that entails they have 2 Thursday night games, which they open up this Thursday against Hopewell, and later on they'll play LB on Thursday night. So they're going to take the whole bus ride through Findlay, going to get ready of that nature, still going to get a good crowd and everything, but it's just going to be weird because the senior year, you don't get to play on your home field. Mm-hmm. I think they're still going to have a strong team. This game against Hopewell has always kind of been one of the tighter ones in the BBC. It could go either way. A lot of talent coming back, but they got a new quarterback and a couple new skill guys. So,
let's talk a little bit about is there any team that maybe has struggled the last few years, but that may be able to turn around this year and finish around 500 or even higher?
I could think of a couple, but for different reasons. Elmwood in the NBC has been a 1 or 2 win team for the past couple of years. They have 58 guys on their roster. They have a lot of size. Their quarterback is back. They always rely on a pounding run game as well. Coach Bishop is in his 3rd year now. They've paid off in the weight room. They have huge size. They have huge depth. From a numbers standpoint, it looks like they could, getting to 4 or 5 wins would be a huge step in the right direction for them. Another team I really like their chances is Lakota in the SBC. Feels a little bit more wide open with maybe Calvert graduating a lot and Gibsonburg is always going to be a tough test, but Lakota's numbers are up, their senior class is up, the experience is there, and Mike Lento is another third-year coach who really feels like he's getting the program in the right direction by culture.
All right, and that'll do it for week 1 of the Review Times Chalk Talk. Be sure to check out reviewtimes.com on Saturday morning for all of Friday's football results.